response of the system is shown in figure if the pole zero plot is of the form. Okay, now he has given the 4 options and there are 2 poles in the left hand side. So, okay, this is the real axis and this one is j omega axis. Now let us take this is minus sigma and the pole at these points is j omega. So what can I write this expression? Okay, I'm doing it here. What we can write that expression? These are imaginary poles having real part. Okay, so I can write this one as s minus or s plus sigma whole square plus omega square is equal to 0. These are the poles we are having. Okay, so what can I write from this? S1 comma S2 is equal to minus sigma plus j times of omega. Okay, or if this is the function, what we can write? The inverse Laplace transform of this one, j times of omega square. If this is the response we are having it. Now what is h of t here? H of t is equal to, I can write this one as e power minus sigma t into, okay, it is multiplied and divided by omega. So this is by omega into omega by s square plus omega square is sin at. So sin omega t. So from this response, what we can write this one? This is e power minus at. So these are damped oscillations. Okay, or you can say decaying oscillations with respect to sine term. Okay, so this is not damping, this is not reducing to 0 at infinite, so this is not the option. Similarly, he has given the other 3 options as like this. This is reaching infinite and infinity, so this is not the correct answer. So what about this option A here? We are having e power minus at function. E power minus at function response is a decaying one. We have a sine response. Okay, so what is the joint of these two response? What is the combined response of these two? Option A is the correct answer.
A random variable y equals to the summation of identically independent random variables, and each random variable characteristic function is 1 by theta. Then pi y of omega is, here y is summation of IID variables, IID random variables. So the characteristics function of y is nothing but the product of individual characteristic function. That is, pi y of omega is equals to pi x1 of omega to pi xn of omega, which is nothing but 1 by theta up to 1 by theta, which is nothing but 1 by theta whole power n. That is, option B is correct. Expectation of xn is given as 2 and h of n is given as 2 power n u of n. We have to find the mean of y of n. That is, expectation of yn is nothing but h of z equals to 0 multiply with 2. H of z is given as z by z power z minus 2 into 2 at z equals to 0. That is, z equals to 1. We have to substitute. So 1 by 1 minus 2 into 2, which is nothing but minus 1 into 2, that is minus 2 is the correct answer. That is, option A is correct. Option A is minus 2 here. This. Consider a random process x of t given by x of t, which is equals to a cos omega t plus b sin omega t, where omega is a constant and a and b are random variables. If a process stationary, then for a stationary random process, the mean should be constant. That is, expectation of x of t should be constant. It should not depend upon time. So expectation of a cos omega t plus expectation of b sin omega t. So expectation of x of t is independent of time if and only if both expectation of a as well as expectation of b are equals to 0. That is, option C is correct. Option B is correct. Following transmission line shown below, the voltage at VAA dash will appear at VPV dash after a time interval of. See here, this is the DC signal, that is U of t. Here length is 300 meters. That is lambda is equals to infinite because frequency is 0 for the U of t. If frequency is 0, so phase velocity is approximately equals to the velocity of light. So time is nothing but L by Vp, which is equals to 300 divided by 300 into 10 power 6, that is 10 power minus 6 seconds, which is 1 microsecond. That is option B is correct.
Functions are f of alpha and g of beta. Now we have to check f of alpha into g of beta whole inverse is how much. Now f of alpha into g of alpha, g of beta will be nothing but cos alpha cos beta minus alpha, sin alpha to cos alpha sin beta and sin alpha cos beta, then cos alpha, then sin alpha sin beta minus sin beta 0 cos beta, whereas the determinant of f of alpha into g of beta will be 1, and it satisfies the property. That means f inverse f of alpha into g of beta whole inverse will be equals to g of beta whole inverse into f of alpha whole inverse. By finding g of beta inverse and f of beta inverse, and if you multiply you will get this inverse. So the answer is option D. We have given the assertion as box P comma Q plus R comma S minus T. We know that box ABC is nothing but A dot B cross C, that is P dot Q plus R cross S minus T. And if you simplify by using the vector vector definitions, you will get the answer as PQS minus PQT plus PRS minus PRT. That means the given assertion is true. And also we know that scalar triple product is commutative. Yes, scalar triple product is commutative. So assertion is true and reason is true, but reason is not the correct explanation of assertion, because we are not using only commutative property here. So the answer is B.